Hello and welcome back to SportsZone. This is our NBA segment. We're throwing it up. I'm joined by Aviva. We're filling in for Aaron and Justin this week, but it's an important week in basketball, so we felt we had to get a segment out. The NBA playoffs start 1 week from today, and a lot still has to be decided. And some big news, a big injury this past week really seems to be shaking up things in the East. Kyrie Irving, the star of the Boston Celtics, it's announced that he will be out for the rest of the year, surgery for his shoulder. So Aviva, for the East, what does this injury mean in terms of teams that maybe can contend for the finals? Do you think Boston still has a shot of making it to the finals?
I think they have a less shot after Kyrie Irving got injured. I think it's a huge blow for Boston, a team that was doing really good the entire season, but sadly he got injured and is out. I think it's a huge. I think Philadelphia fans are being so happy right now because now they probably can have a better chance at making to the finals. They have to beat the Raptors, who are they clinched the number 1 seed, but who knows with the Raptors in the playoffs. I don't trust them in the playoffs. We'll see. And then the Cavaliers, who they haven't really done that well in the season, but LeBron James in the playoffs can go off with like 40 points every game. So I don't know. I think it gives the 76ers and Cavaliers a better chance, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think it makes that 3 seed in the East a lot more valuable. The 76ers and Cavaliers are vying for that. The Celtics are pretty much locked in at the 2 seed, so it seems like whoever can get that 3 seed maybe could coast to the Eastern Conference Finals without really having to kick it into a full gear there. And then potentially a team like Toronto, who hasn't really beaten a good team in the playoffs the past couple years there. So potentially a team like the 76ers or the Cavaliers, with LeBron starting to play well again with the playoffs looming, can potentially capitalize on this. And it's unfortunate for the Celtics to have their 2 big stars, injure themselves. They were gearing up for a finals run with Gordon Hayward and Kyrie Irving, their 2 free agent and trade acquisitions, both of them getting hurt. So it's an unfortunate situation there, but they might be able to salvage it. They have a lot of role players, and Brad Stevens is a phenomenal coach, so maybe there's something to salvage it yet, and maybe we're counting out Boston too early, but Philadelphia and Cleveland can certainly benefit from that. And while in the East it's sort of a lot more top-heavy in terms of the uncertainty, the West is just a mess. You have 5 teams fighting for the last 4 playoff spots: the Utah Jazz, the Oklahoma City Thunder, the San Antonio Spurs, the Denver Nuggets, and the New Orleans Pelicans, who one of those teams a week from today will be on the outside looking in. Aviva, do you think one of those 5 teams sort of sticks out as the team who may not make the playoffs?
I don't know. I don't know the West as much as I know the East, but I think maybe the Timberwolves or the Pelicans, I think, are number 4 right now, so I think they're going to get in. The Thunder's number 7, who, if they lose their last 2 games, they could be out. And who knows, they had such high hopes with Melo, with Westbrook, and with Paul George. So if they don't make the playoffs, I think that's a disappointing season for them because they have these big 3 players. So I think maybe they'll be out. I don't know what's going to happen with the West. It's a whole big mess.
It's wild. Denver's basically been playing for their playoff lives basically for the past 2 weeks, and now they're sitting in a dead heap tie with the Minnesota Timberwolves for that 8 seed. As you mentioned, sort of the Pelicans sitting in 4th place are only a game and a half ahead of the Nuggets, who are currently in the 9th position, so anything is really up for grabs. It seems like maybe the Thunder have the easiest pass at it. They play Memphis and Miami, both teams eliminated, who may be in sort of tank mode for playoff or for lottery position, but it's all still to play for. And sort of on the flip side, we talked about teams that maybe would be on the outside. Of those teams that get in but will be the 4 through 8 seeds, which of those teams do you think is the most dangerous and could pose the most threats to a dominant team like the Houston Rockets or the Golden State Warriors?
I'm a big fan of the Pelicans with Anthony Davis. I think he can go off any game, and I think in the playoffs he can go off. I don't know if the Pelicans can beat the Rockets number 1, the Warriors number 2, But I love Anthony Davis, so I think maybe the Pelicans.
Yeah, definitely. This could be his coming out party, his second appearance in the playoffs. The first time around, the Pelicans were the 8th seed. He didn't really have a lot of players around him. They got swept by the Warriors. This time, maybe if they play their cards right, could wind up being a 4 seed and find themselves potentially playing in the Rockets in the second round. Again, injuries have derailed their season a little bit. They have another superstar in DeMarcus Cousins who tore his Achilles, and this team might have been contending for the 3 seed with the Portland Trailblazers if injuries sort of hadn't derailed them. But a lot still to play for in the NBA season. It certainly should be exciting for the final 2 games of the year to see which teams, secure seedings and which team ultimately is left out. But we will check in next week sort of to preview those playoff matchups. This has been Throwing It Up. Stick around for more SportsZone after this.